global tariff storm and deliberately targeted China.
Shalom. First and foremost, before I get started, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to where it's due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Achakwadash, and double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who were well and who taught us the truth. Today's lesson is going to go into the response China said, the video that China said in response to the U.S. tariffs. And I did this lesson a little earlier today, but Satan had to play a role as always and didn't have no sound to it, so just gonna put it back up on wax and Lord willing it's edifying. So this is from X, formerly known as Twitter. This was 15 hours ago. Another one says 17. Another one says 18 hours ago. It's a video China put out. It says China will never kneel. This is the video China released, which showed China's stance on the tariff war clearly. China won't back down because bowing to a bully is like drinking poison to quench thirst. It only deepens the crisis. Bullies are just paper tigers, and the U.S. does not represent the entire world. So let's get into the video and get the scriptures, and again, Lord willing, it's edifying.
The calm before an even fiercer. Have you heard of the eye of the storm? It appears calm for a moment, but is actually a deadly trap. The calm before an even fiercer storm. The U.S. has stirred up a global tariff storm and deliberately targeted China, playing a 90-day pause game with other nations, forcing them to limit trade with China. This is just like the deadly trap of the eye of the storm. Bowing to a bully is like drinking poison to quench thirst. It only deepens the crisis. The US once accused Japan of dumping semiconductors and crushed companies like Toshiba. Later, it forced Japan to sign the Plaza Accord, pushing the economy into decades of anemic growth. The US also used long-arm jurisdiction as a weapon, breaking up France's industrial giant Alstom, robbing the country of a national champion. History has proven compromise won't earn you mercy. Kneeling only invites more bullying. China won't kneel down, because we know standing up for ourselves keeps the possibility of cooperation alive, while compromise snuffs it out. China won't back down, so the voices of the weak will be heard, bullying will be stopped, and justice will not disappear from the world. All bullies are just paper tigers. The U.S. does not represent the entire world. Its trade makes up less than a fifth of the world's total.
We have the power to push back.
When the rest of the world stands together in solidarity, the U.S. is just a small, stranded boat. Imperialists are always arrogant. If they show a bit of reason, it's only because they're forced to do so. Make no mistake, the U.S. will keep flip-flopping and playing hardball. But China will stand firm. No matter how hard the wind blows, no matter how clouds rage. The darker the night, the brighter the stars shine. Someone has to step forward, torch in hand, to shatter the fog and illuminate the path ahead. When every nation stands tall, the world will break through the walls of hegemony. For China, for the world, we must rise and fight on.
So you've seen it, man. China said that no matter how tough it gets, even no matter how hard the winds blow, they are going to stand firm. Because right now we're seeing tariffs on China. All China, the majority of Chinese goods, products going from China to America is going to be 145% tariff that U.S. businesses have to pay in order to get Chinese goods shipped over to America, and vice versa. China has a 125% tariff on American goods, products that go over to China. So we're seeing things beginning to escalate within the society, within this world, man, which was revealed unto us that things are going to only continue to escalate and increase as we get closer and closer to the end. Let's get that real quick. In Matthew Matthew 24 and verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? So Yahweh's disciples at the time had asked him, what are going to be signs of thy coming? How are we going to know that we're at the end? What are going to be signs of thy coming and of the end of the world? When you go into that word world, it's going to eon, which is going into a period of time, an age, rulership. So it's going to be the end of this rulership. What's going to be the end of this age, the end of this period of time? So this is what Yahweh responded and said, Matthew 24 and verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So the end is not yet. And what does it say? That we must needs go through these things in order to enter into the kingdom of heaven, man. So we got to go through the wars, the rumors of wars, nation rise against nation, and so on and so forth. As it says in verse 7, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows, and we're seeing nations rising up against nations, man. China said they're not going to kneel. They're not going to bow. Then this is further escalating tensions between China and America, and ultimately between everybody in the world, man, because this is going to affect everybody. And China said that they're not going to back down, man. And what did it say in the beginning? It said, real quick.
Have you heard of the eye of the storm? It appears calm for a moment, but is actually a deadly trap. The calm before an even fiercer storm.
The calm before an even fiercer storm. And is that not what Trump said back in 2017? Let's see if we can get that. This is when he was in office last time.
You guys know what this represents? Well, it's the calm before the storm.
What's the storming?
Could be the calm before the storm.
What storm is
We
the
have the
president?
world's great military people in this room. I will tell you that. And we'll have a great evening. Thank you all for coming. Thank you.
What storm, Mr. President?
You'll find out.
What storm, Mr. President? What storm, Mr. President? You'll find out. So, and what did China say in that message? That this is the calm before an even deadlier storm, man. We're seeing these things coming into fruition, and nations are getting ready for war. And ultimately, this is all leading up and gearing towards the New World Order, the New World Agenda, man. The MOTB, the mandation and implementation of the micro CHIP, the RFID micro CHIP, man. This is what everything is leading towards, man. Their agenda. These things are coming to pass before our very eyes, man. And the Lord has given us signs to know and to realize, hey, man, we're at the end. This is it. Let's get this real quick. Joel 3 and verse 9. And it reads, Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. And let me just make sure that this is, gotta make sure that microphone is on. Again, Joel 3 and verse 9, Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. So what? Prepare war. Now is not the time to be, lovey-dovey with everybody. That's what it says in Ecclesiastes. What, 3? Ecclesiastes 3 and 1. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. So now is not the time for love, man. What does it say? Jumping down to verse 8. Ecclesiastes 3:8. A time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. Now is not the time for peace, man. Peace will come into the kingdom. That's when true peace is going to be here. But right now, nations are the nations in society right now under America's hegemony is not going to reach an agreement of peace. And if they say it, then that's false, man. True peace is going to come in the kingdom. Now is the time for war. Now is not the time to prepare for peace. Now is not the time to prepare for stability. But now is the time to prepare for war, man. For upheavals. For a change. For a rise from these other nations to come about and destroy America, aka Babylon the Great. That is what this time, man, is for. That's why that's the time right now. War, man. Again, Ecclesiastes 3 and verse 8. A time to love and a time to hate. A time of war and a time of peace. And now is the time for war, man. Now is not the time for peace. So let's get back in that Slack, bear with me. Now is the time for war, man. Backing up. We're gonna get that Joel, back in that Joel 3 and verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. So everybody's being awakened, man, for war, not for peace, but for war, man. It says, let them come up, let all the men of war draw near. It says, verse 10, beat your plowshares and the swords and your pruning hooks and the spears, let the weak say, I am strong. So even the weaker say, hey, I'm strong. I want a piece of this battle. I want a piece of the pie. North Korea saying, hey, I got nuclear weapons. Iran saying, hey man, I'm gonna make my nuclear weapons. I'm gonna get my warheads. Now is not the time for peace, man. Now is not the time to be, focusing on making iPhones, focusing on making iPads and so on and so forth, man. Now is the time to make war weapons, man. Again, beat your plowshares and the swords and your pruning hooks and the spears. Now is the time to make ammunition. Getting ready, stocking up materials for war. You already see China stocking up on gold, stocking up on food, water, and so on and so forth, man. They already know what is a front. You always see these China always doing these military show offs. Let's see if we can find that. It's like, damn, Smiths. China shows off military. Military parade. Let's see if I don't need nothing 8 minutes, man. Let's see if
just behind me, you're looking at 70
this
years.
was 5 years ago. There was one that was recent. I did a lesson on it a while ago, man. But it'll be alright. China military parade. Three days ago. Look at this. And look, it says China to hold grand military parade in September 2025. So they about to hold another one, man, since 2019. Let me turn this off. Yeah, this was 2019. There was another. Well, I don't think it was a military parade, but showing off, man. So that's it. So these are signs, man, and we believe that we're in that time. It's already been made manifest that this is that time, man, that the Lord Yahweh Shemi Yahshua has spoken about. It's Habakkuk 2 and verse 3, and it reads, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry." So we believe that this is that appointed time, man, that the Lord Yahweh Shemi Yahshua has been speaking about. The end, the birth pains, the miseries, and the everything that comes with it. The implementation of the RFID micro CHIP, World War III. We believe that this is that appointed time, that future time that has been described throughout the scriptures by Yahweh Shemi Yahshua, man, through his prophets. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. When you go into that word tarry, it's going into delay, to stop. It isn't going to delay, man. It's going to speed up, increase, intensify, man, as we get closer and closer to the end. And we believe that this is that time, man, because everything is going to happen in effects and signs. 2nd Ezra 9 and verse, real quick before we get there, let's get this article. China sends, from Newsbreak CNN, 5 hours ago, China sends a stern video message to Trump: "We won't kneel down." In a sharp rebuke of President Donald Trump's trade war, China's foreign ministry posted to social media a striking video that calls on the international community to stand up to America's bully leader. Bowing to a bully is like drinking poison to quench thirst. It only deepens the crisis. History has proven compromise won't earn you mercy. Kneeling only invites more bullying. China won't kneel down. The video narrates a history lesson of what China considers American economic aggression, forcing companies like Toshiba and Alstom into breakup, financial crisis, and bankruptcy, and sending Japan's economy into decades of anemic growth. So we're seeing that China is saying, hey, we got to stand up. We can't let America's hegemony to continue on, man. China will stand firm no matter how hard the wind blows. Someone has to step forward, torch in hand, to shatter the fog and illuminate the path ahead. And China's saying, we're going to stand up. We're going to stand up to the bullying. We're not going to allow this to continue on any longer, no matter how hard the winds blow. Since Trump has recently said he expects the tariff on Chinese goods to come down, on Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has recently, as Tuesday, called the extremely high tariffs unsustainable. But Trump also said China would need to come up with a strong offer. And though he has said the two nations are in constant communication, China has repeatedly denied that countries are in any kind of active trade negotiation. And this is war. This is a trade war, man, going on. So Trump saying, yeah, us and Trump is in talks, and China saying, no, we're not talking to him. And then Trump saying in order for him to lower the tariffs, China's going to have to come to the table. And China said, we're not coming to the table, man. We're done taking the back seat to you. We're right here at the door, man. We're right here. 2nd Ezra 9, verse 6, even so, verse 5, 2nd Ezra 9 and 5. For like as all that is made in the world hath the beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. The end is manifest. It's clear to see that we're at the end, man. Verse 6. Even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonder and powerful works and endings and effects and signs. And when you go into the word effect, definition of effect, it says a change which is a result or consequence of an action or other cause. So it says that there's going to be the ending and effects and signs and changes. And so there's going to be changes that comes to the society to show that, hey, we're at the end. And to show that, hey, this is the end, man. So there's going to be an effects and signs, changes. And it's going to be, results of consequences and actions that happen, man. So there's going to be actions that take place that bring about these changes and effects, man. So, and the Lord has already revealed it to us through Yahweh Shai, and starting with our apostles and elders, great millstone on down, that this is the end, man, and everything is continuing to intensify. So, Lord willing, this lesson is edifying to the spirit, to the body, to the fold. And before I end it off, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to where it's due to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Achakudas, and double honors as always to the apostles and the elders of great millstone. Until next time, Shalom.